Welcome everyone to a gentle practice for all levels. Today, the practice will be gentle and accessible, but also we are going to pull in the warrior poses today. So a little less gentle than we often do on Mondays, but we're going to practice our way into a pose called humble warrior. And so I'd like to start this practice by telling you the story of the warrior. So I need you to get yourself grounded here, just really settled on your sitting bones. Do any kind of movement that you need to help you feel like you're just coming into your body. As I'm sharing this story, feel free to stretch and take some deep breaths and prepare yourself for practice. So the story of the warrior poses goes like this. Once upon a time, there was a king, and the king's name was Daksha. And Daksha had a daughter that he loved dearly. His daughter was Sati, and his daughter fell in love with Shiva, Lord Shiva. And if you know who Lord Shiva is the bad boy. Shiva is the god of destruction. And he even looks like a bad boy. Shiva has dreadlocks. He's a party boy. He likes to stir things up. And Sati fell head over heels in love with Shiva. Well, Daksha was not happy about this, and he forbid the relationship, and they got married anyway. So long story short, King Daksha was so angry that they got married without his consent that he threw a lavish party and invited everyone in the kingdom except Sati and Shiva. And of course, Sati was brokenhearted because she did love her father, even though he was crazy and wrong about her love. So she went to the party in disguise, and she found her way to her father, and she revealed herself and begged and begged and begged him to please accept Shiva as his son-in-law. And Daksha said, no way, he's a bad boy, he's bad for you, he's bad for our kingdom, there's no way. And she was so upset that Sati threw herself into the ceremonial fire and, of course, died. When Shiva learned of this, he was not only upset and sad, but he was angry. He was so angry that he ripped one of his dreadlocks out of his head and he threw it to earth. And a big explosion happened. And that dreadlock grew into Vira. Vira is the hero. Virabhadra means the auspicious hero. So when we come into Warrior One, we are taking on the shape of the warrior getting ready for battle. So Virabhadra rose up out of the earth. In the middle of the party, he opened his arms and chopped off the heads of everyone at the party, including Daksha, the king. So in our Warrior Two, sadly, for all the light and love yogis, we're actually celebrating death and destruction and chopping off heads. So chopped off Daksha's head. And then when he came into Warrior Three, the balancing pose, that's the pose of him actually setting Daksha's head on a stake, on a post. Really gory story so far, right? So Lord Shiva saw that everything was destroyed and the ground was leveled. There were ashes everywhere. And he asked Virabhadra to retreat. And so reverse warrior is the pose of Virabhadra retreating from his destruction. And humble warrior, when we bow, is the warrior bowing to Lord Shiva in regret and humility for the harm he has caused, and a vow to start over in a more loving way. So once he took that pose, that humble warrior pose, the first to arrive from the ashes was the beloved Sati, who was now called Shakti. And Shakti is the name for our feminine energy that rises up out of our low belly when we're practicing Kundalini yoga, and it unites with Shiva. So this is a story of the wrong that we do in the world, the way we make it right, and how we unite ourselves again. Sound good? Yes. Okay. So we're just going to start with a few deep breaths here. So reach your arms nice and high. And press your arms down. And as you do, reach behind you. The first action we're going to need today is that shoulder extension or arms behind us. So exhale, arms back. And just moving with your breath in as big a range as you can with arms moving behind you. If you're already warm enough and limber enough and you can grab your hands behind you, pause there to open up through the chest and shoulders. You can open the front of your body, stick your heart out. Let's do that a couple more times, and I'm going to bring in some music. And the next time our arms are behind, let's hold this extra long, interlacing the hands. Press your collarbones toward the ceiling. Reach your knuckles toward the floor or the wall behind you and breathe deeply. Pause here for a moment in this story, this ancient story from Hindu history, which is a more respectful way to say it than mythology, but it's sometimes said that way as well. Let's reach our hands to the side, come up and over, take a nice long side body stretch. Another place we're going to need some space to move into humble warrior. Allow yourself to round forward over your folded legs, both hands in front of you. And these forward folds are poses of humility, of coming down toward our center, folding in, and then turning to the opposite side, sweeping that arm up. Nice deep breaths into the side body. Let's roll our bodies back and forth, forward and to the side. Arm comes up and over. Might even turn to look at the hand as it comes up. Moving in a way that feels supportive and easeful to your spine. So maybe not the biggest movement ever, just flowy and soft. And releasing both hands down to our sides. Let's rotate to the right side, warming up the spine with a twist. Turn to look over your back shoulder. Exhale, release, twist to your left. Lengthen and rotate. We'll do that one more time, both ways. And then let's find our way to all fours and back into child's pose. And if you have a pillow or a couple of blocks nearby, I'd love you to have these so that we can start to find a little more space in our chest and shoulders. So we'll start right here in child's pose, head down. Maybe roll your forehead side to side. A little massage to the third eye, which is our place where Shiva resides, this place of intuition and knowledge, wisdom. And Shiva is wise enough to know that sometimes we have to burn it down. Sometimes what we think is serving us is not serving us. We need to sweep the room of its debris in order to start fresh. Breathe and exhale fully. And then go ahead and bring your hands onto something. You could even use a chair, right? So we just want to create a way that the head can drop through the arms toward the floor. As we're breathing here, feel your breath, expanding your lungs and squeezing your heart. Our story begins with Sati and Shiva head over heels in love. Two bodies, one heart. Her seeing past his bad boy tendencies, him seeing past the restraints for their relationship and just head over heels in love. Release your blocks. Go ahead and come into downward facing dog. And then let's just let that heart space loosen up a little bit. So as you pedal your heels, drop one shoulder and then the other and start to get a little bit wiggly through the upper body. Maybe rounding forward and back. Let this be more about the shoulders than the hamstrings. Keep the head dangling, the neck loose. Big sigh. And then a forward walk. Lifting halfway and surrender again into forward fold. Take a hold of your heels and gently pull yourself down. You can bend your knees if you need to just be easeful here. Oh, nice sigh. And we'll lift halfway. Let's sweep the arms high. And in this reach toward the sky, cactus the arms, opening the heart even more. Reaching high. Open the arms. Let's do that one more time. Reach high. Open the arms. A request for approval. Sati wanted her father to bless this marriage. And we'll bring our hands back to heart center, rise high. And when father said no, bow low, there was sadness. Bow your head. Inhale, lift halfway and step back, downward facing dog. Let's take a vinyasa, a practice of strength. You can be on your toes or your knees, lowering down, strong enough to be in the hard place, lift up, but strong enough to be there with softness. Sati was patient with her father. She knew he'd come around someday. Let's go ahead and bring the feet to hands. Lift halfway and fold. Rise up, reach high. And again, a request. Cactus your arms, opening the heart. And come back to heart center. Let's go through that sequence one more time, friends. Rise up, bow low. Lift halfway. And step back, downward facing dog. Take a vinyasa your way, knees or toes, strong and soft. And pressing back into downward facing dog. Feeling your breath moving through your whole body. Looking forward, feet come to hands. Lift and lower. Let's reach high, stretch to the sky, look up, and then cactus your arms one more time. And bring your hands to your heart. Okay, I think we're ready to roll into these warrior poses. So let's keep our right foot where it is. Let's step our left foot back, and we're going to start in a low lunge. So fingertips on the floor or blocks. Just giving ourselves a nice firm foundation. So picturing Shiva, angry, ripping that dreadlock out of his head and throwing it to earth. We're going to drop our back heel And this is the first warrior. So we're gonna bring our hands in front of us, interlace, point our fingers out, and slowly rise up. Like you're growing up out of the earth. Your feet are planted, your core is strong, straight up. And if this doesn't feel good to your shoulders, you can keep your hands separate, but lift as if you were pointing to the sky with a sword. Take a moment here to feel the strength and the purpose for which you were born. In this case, this warrior was born for destruction, to take them down. As we exhale, we're gonna first turn the hips to the side, widen our stance, point the arms right out in front of your chest. And as you release your hands, open into warrior two with fierceness. You can do that a few times because it's kind of fun. Fierceness, right? The fierce warrior. We're gonna look over our right middle knuckle, that's our sword. The warrior who is taking aim. In this case, chopping heads. Symbolic of destroying evil, destroying that which restricts human beings from living a life of love and peace and ease. The back arm comes forward to meet the front arm, and we're going to come back on our toes. All right, so warrior three, as you know, is a balancing pose. So we're going to bring the arms back up overhead and let that back leg lift. Depending on how your body feels today, you might stay here in this angle. And if you feel steady, you can come forward. And we set Daksha's head on a post. I know, yoga history is not all love and light and rainbows and unicorns. But there's a happy ending. All right, from here, we'll drop that back foot. We'll come out into our warrior two again, turning the right palm. Shiva asks Virabhadra to retreat, and he does. He's done his job. Hear that Ujjayi breath. And bring the arms behind, interlace the fingers. And at the end of the day, Virabhadra humbles himself and bows his head in both regret and sorrow and humility, but also joy for the lessons learned. Go ahead and release the hands to the ground. We're going to walk ourselves to wide straddle and give yourself a moment of time here to just play. You can just hang out or you can move your body. Just take some time away from the story to just get embodied, feel, and breathe. What does your body need right now? Lifting up halfway, we'll turn toward the back edge of our mat, come down into low lunge first. Setting up, finding our base, the left foot very intentionally placed. And then as we drop that back heel, arms reach out in front, pointer fingers extended, and up we come, warrior one, preparing. So feet pressing down, fingers lifting up, spine strong and tall, core engaged. Let's take some deep breaths here, friends. You might even reach your arms back a little bit further to open up that space around your shoulders. And then rotating the hips toward the long edge of the mat, bring your arms straight out in front of you. Set up that warrior two base and then slice your arms open. Let's do that 3 times. A big exhale. Turning to look over the left hand, taking aim, finding our focus as still and strong as possible. The mind unwavering, here with purpose. We'll sweep the back arm around, come onto the back toes, interlace again, preparing for warrior 3. Remember all of your options for warrior 3. You can take just a little lean. You can bring your arms to your sides, but it might be fun to keep them overhead today, imagining the sword in your hands. And just finding your expression of warrior 3. And then we'll drop that leg, opening out again, warrior 2. And when we're asked to retreat, we back up. Take some deep breaths into the left side of our body. And we humble ourselves, bring the arms behind, open the chest, dive inside your left leg. Head down, hands high. Humbling ourselves to recognize what we learned from the circumstances of our past. And in Virabhadra's humility, everyone rose again. The whole kingdom came back to life. Bring your fingers to the floor, walk to center again, and give yourself time here to play in the way that you like. So, in the middle of these poses, there is rebirth. There's new sprouts coming up out of the ground. The first one was Sati, and she got a new name, feminine energy, Shakti. You can even say that word out loud. It has power to say. You almost have to say it with that whisper, fiery breath, Shakti, Shakti, feminine energy. So let's turn again toward the top of our mat. We're on our back toes. Let your back knee drop. Let's come a little bit more into that hip flexor. Bringing the hands to the inside of the right foot. Let the knee drop open. And we're gonna press our hand to that knee and just take a nice little twist here. And we're gonna take another round of those warrior poses and see if being a little more warm and a little more open is helpful. So come back to center and find your low lunge, and let's rock forward and back. Each time you come back, dig your heel in and pull your hips back away from that planted heel. All right, and then coming forward, we'll tuck our toes. Let's drop our back heel. Before we rise up into Warrior One, I invite you to think of something in the past that you have come through, a hard time in your life that you made it through. And let's just use that symbolism as we rise up to our Warrior One. So let this pose be symbolic of when you first learned about that hard thing. For me, what comes to mind is a diagnosis, some news. You first heard about the thing, and you were born into a moment where you were called to be a warrior. Might have felt scary, hard, you might have been angry, but you still took the stand of the warrior. Let's open our hips, fingertips straight in front of the chest, and then you sliced your arms open and look over your right hand. So there was a time in that battle in your life when you did your research, you talked to people, you figured things out, you took aim, right? You took responsibility for your role in this situation. You became a warrior for yourself, maybe for others. Bring the back hand around, come onto your toes, interlace and lift. And as you remember, it wasn't always easy. You went through hard times. The ground was shaky. There might have been times you thought it was over and it wasn't. Think pandemic. But you continued your battle and you had your landmarks. Let's drop the back foot, open again, warrior two. And there came a time when you got to retreat. You got to take a step back from your own battle and realize that it was time to be done. It was behind you. And so then interlace your fingers, open up through the front of your body and surrender. At the end of that journey that you would never have asked for, you realize you grew in many ways, you learned lessons, you became the person you are today. In humility, maybe there is even gratitude for the hard things behind us. Let's release the hands. Let's walk to center, and we're going to do some movement here. So coming into side stretches as deeply as your knees will allow. Move at a pace that works best for you. And then moving toward our left side, let's turn to low lunge and we'll drop our back knee. Pausing here. Bring the hands to the inside of the left foot, drop the left knee open. Place your left hand on that knee and then just lean back away from the knee, creating space in your hips. Take deep breaths, my friends. And as we return to center, let's shift our legs forward and back. Moving slowly, dig the heel in, pull your hips back. And shifting forward. Tucking our back toes, dropping our back heel. We reach up into warrior one. Root down, lift high. Feel the strength in your body that is there because of where you've been. Turn to the side, finger point forward, and slice your arms open. Set your eyes over the left middle knuckle. All of your attention here, now, the only moment that ever matters. Scooping that right arm forward, come onto the back toes, lifting into warrior three. a balancing pose, and just taking the options that help you best. A bigger motion, a smaller motion. You can lose the arms if that feels like it's causing strain. And effort is different than strain, so don't lose the effort, but lose the strain. Dropping that back heel, coming into warrior two. Let's reverse, let's retreat. Open and breathe. And then back to warrior two for humble warrior. Open, expand, and surrender. Head down, knuckles high. Take the deepest lunge you can. If this hurts your back, you can rest on the thigh. But if your body allows, come inside the thigh. Drop the head, breathe deeper. And then coming back to center. This time we're going to square all of our toes to the side of our mat. Grab a block if you like for twisting straddle. So we'll go to the right first. Left hand down, right arm up. Fingers to the sky, chest open, feet firm. And switching sides. Right hand down, left arm up. Nice, everybody. Release your hand. Let your head come down. And if you can, maybe find a way to rest your head on either a block, maybe the floor or something in front of you. Just give your head a place to rest. Let this be a more passive pose for a moment while breath travels through your body. All right, widen your feet. You might change where your hands are. So I'd like you now to set your sight on a challenge that you have out in front of you. It could be a goal, could be a problem, could be a relationship, work-related, health-related. Can you bring to mind a battle that lies ahead of you? And we're going to take one more round of these poses in preparation to show up into this battle. Let's bring our hands up underneath our shoulders, lengthen the spine, and turn again toward the top of your mat. We'll step the back foot in a little bit. Let's come into pyramid pose. So a little more length in the right hamstring. Arms reach behind and either settle on the back or interlace and lift again. Find your balance. So what we learned from Virabhadrasana when he made his way into humility, he learned lessons. And he learned to become a peaceful warrior. He learned to become a warrior for the greater good of all. So we're going to celebrate that version of warrior two as we look ahead in our own lives. Let's bring the fingers down, step back again, rise up, warrior one. Let's see if we can come into it this time with softness. So our foundation is firm. We're very sure about our footing here. We have a fire in our belly. We have our Ujjayi breath. And we're preparing to step into this challenge. Might feel scary, might feel uncertain. Here we stand. Let's open our hips to the side and bring our arms out in front of us. And then the next pose is symbolic of our action, taking action. So let's do that 3 times. What is the action that you are going to need to take in this challenge? And then just set your eyes on your right middle knuckle. Something may even come to mind as an action step. 1 email, 1 letter, 1 conversation, 1 physical action. What's 1 step toward this challenge, this goal, this problem? And stay focused 100% on that 1 thing. Let's bring the back arm through and we'll come into balance. So moving into our warrior 3. Because we know there will be tough times. We're not stepping into something easy. We chose a hard thing. But we're teaching ourselves that we can stand on shaky ground and we can fall and we can come back again and again until we have created change, solved our problem. And then we retreat. So maybe just take a moment to imagine what it might be like when we're standing on the other side of this challenge. And that day will come when we get to humble ourselves and acknowledge what we came through, just like we've done in the past. Breathe deep. This will be our last time in humble warrior. So deepen as much as you can in this hip opener, chest expansion. Exhale loud. And let's return to our wide straddle. And again, playtime, anything your body needs here. Stillness or movement. When you're ready, let's turn to the back of our mat. I'm going to use fewer words on this side and just let you be in these shapes that have so much to teach us. We'll start with pyramid pose. Arms on your back or interlaced. Releasing our hands, stepping back, dropping our heel and rising up. The warrior preparing. Opening our hips, pointing forward, and let's just slice our arms open 3 times. And then we take our aim, looking over the left hand. Scooping around, coming into balance, warrior 3. And we retreat. Reverse warrior. Open up, breathe deep. Gorgeous. Hands behind. Humble warrior one last time. Second side. Dig deep here, friends. The strength and the humility coming together. As we release our hands, let's come back to center. One more forward fold right here. Maybe this time arms way out in front like a wide downward facing dog. Exaggerate your breath. Returning our hands, let's come toward the top of our mat. We're going to bring both of our knees down to the mat and press back to child's pose. Let your arms come down to your sides, maybe something under your head, and rest here for a moment. That was a lot of work on a gentle yoga Monday. Come back here into your body, connecting with your breath, settling, softening. And then we'll invite ourselves down onto our bellies. A little back strengthening pose, locust. So let's bring our arms to our sides first. As the arms lift, the palms turn down, and that invites the chest and head to start to lift. This is a great place to stay right here. You can lift your feet if you like, or keep them on the ground. And since we've been working here with hands clasped, you can do that as well. Open up your body, open up your heart. Another vulnerable pose. Deep breath. And as you lower, let one of your cheeks come down to the floor or your hands and just wiggle out your hips. From here, pressing ourselves up to a tabletop position, slipping our legs around. Let's come into easy seat. You can rise up onto a bolster if you like. A couple more things for our shoulders here, since they're nice and loose. Let's take eagle arms, kind of moving into the back of the shoulders a bit. So with the arms out wide, I'm out of breath. Bring the left arm underneath, cross your arms. You can hug, or you can work towards a bind. And then on the inhale, we're just gonna lift our elbows as high as we can, maybe a little back bend. On the exhale, squeeze at the armpits and bow your body forward. Let's do that a few times with breath. This pose is really wonderful for our immune system. It helps to stimulate the lymph nodes under our in our armpits, helping them do their job of ridding the body of toxins. The next time we are lifted up, rotate toward the right and toward the left. And again, toward the right and the left. And slowly release the hands out wide and let the fingertips fall to the floor. Just relax your shoulders. Do that on the other side. Cross the opposite leg in front. Arms lift. Right arm goes under the left arm this time. You can hug or twist. When you have found your eagle arms, inhale, lift into a little back bend. Take a deep, deep, deep breath. Exhale, squeeze your armpits round. Right here, right now, all is well, warriors. Sitting on our yoga mats, breathing our breath, feeling our bodies. One more time, lift. And then release, slowly peel out and down. Gorgeous. Go ahead and come onto your back, and we're just gonna do a bridge pose today. And two great options. One is supported bridge with a block under you. But since we've been doing all that work with our arms behind us, I think you might find that bridge with hands interlaced might be a little more comfortable today. So choose, press into your feet, lift your hips high, and think of eventually coming onto the tops of your shoulders a little bit more than the backs of your shoulders. So that just means lifting your hips, lifting your ribs, rocking your body towards your head. There's more expansion in the chest, the heart, the lungs. Take a deeper breath in and release. Let your arms come straight out into a T, palms up. Toes touch the edge of the mat, and let's windshield wiper the legs. Just a gentle twist both directions. A little cleansing through the hips. And as the knees drop to the left side, you can stay right here for an easy twist, or you can try putting your heel on top of that right knee and turn your head to the right. A little more leverage. And let's release. Come through center, adjust your hips so the knees can drop to the right. Turn your head to the left. You can keep your feet here or stack a heel on a knee. And draw that deep, slow thread of breath through your nose down into your lungs. Feel the breath in your belly. Notice your whole body as you exhale, everything settles. We'll unwind our legs, come back to center, wiggle around a little bit, maybe draw the knees in. And we'll start to unfold. Let's come into Shavasana. The pose of surrender, the pose we've prepared for this whole practice. The letting go. Giving ourselves over to gravity. Making no effort to resist the pull of gravity on all parts of our bodies. Let the muscles of your face soften. Your neck, your shoulders, your arms and hands. Notice if there's still any holding through your belly or your hips or your legs, your feet. No need to hold anything here. Set it down and surrender. Let's take another deep, slow thread of breath in through the nose, filtering down through the throat, the lungs, and into the belly, and then a sigh as the exhale. You start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Start to stretch in all directions, up and down, side to side. And when you're ready, find your seat. And let's bring our hands together and interlace one more time with our pointer fingers up. And make sure that the right thumb is over the left thumb. The right thumb is the side of strength, the left is softness. So our strong thumb over, just symbolic of this spiritual sword that we all bear, and a commitment to moving into the challenges of our life with both strength and humility, preparing ourselves, taking aim, willing to fall and step back into the challenges, knowing when to retreat and when to be humble and learn the lessons. So thank you so much for taking time today for yoga and for this warrior practice. Let's bring our hands together in gratitude. Namaste.